Well, hello and welcome everyone here to the ISCA Stock Car Association. We are excited to be here tonight for the Tucson Sound Art Cup and Butt Kicker Cup Series here for the, I do believe, Rock Auto 200 at Nashville Superspeedway. 150 laps we have ahead of us here tonight, and going to be a good race. We definitely saw a heck of a race on Thursday that saw a lot of drama unfold, a lot of guys really risking it for the biscuit, as Big Al would say. And of course, speaking of Big Al, how are you doing tonight?
Hey, doing pretty good, Brian, and welcome everybody to beautiful Nashville, Tennessee. Well, actually, Lebanon, but this is funny because this is a Nashville super speedway. That's not actually a Nashville, and it's actually not a super speedway. So let's just go ahead and start all that off right now.
Just a bunch of a bunch of confusion there, because I agree totally. This is not a super speedway, technically, I would say, but I mean that's what they. I guess it just rolls off the tongue a little bit better for these guys. So just that is interesting though, because it only is I do believe 1.3 mile racetrack, not even a mile and a half, and they don't call mile and a half super speedways,
That's absolutely correct, Brian. But what we do have, looks like we got quite a field here tonight. I think we're going to have ourselves quite a race. I even see a couple of names that we don't usually see. Got a Derek Heitman. Travis Manning's also in the field with us here tonight. And also good to see that we got Chris D. Johnson joining us as well.
Yeah, definitely some names we are used to seeing on Saturdays and some that we are not. But one we're kind of getting used to seeing on Saturday, Jose Acosta, right now top of the board in practice. Very interesting to see that. Of course, practice is wrapping up right now, qualifying, getting ready to be underway. And as we said before, it's going to be 200 or 150 laps here tonight. So definitely not a short race, especially the lap times around this place are, they're verging a little bit higher than 30 seconds. But let's see what happens in qualifying here. I know Chris Severa, I watched him do a Open. I do believe it was last night, if I'm not mistaken. Or maybe it was the night before that. He actually won that race and was to get some big names. Would not be surprised to see him come out here and win here tonight. But then again, there's a lot of competition out there as we see Kenny Powell making his way off of the pit road. I want to talk a little bit about points right quick if we have the time. Looking at the normal Cup standings here, we see Josh Schaffner in the lead with one win. Of course, this is the second race of the Tucson Sound Art Cup Series. Matt DeCiani right now in second place with one top five. Third place, Kenny Powell. Fourth place, Brian Johnson. Fifth place, Robert Pattengale. Sixth place, Al Kozlowski. Paul Olson, he is right now seventh place. Darren Mullins right now eighth place. Haven't seen his name quite a bit out there, but I do believe he was there on this last Saturday, but unfortunately I don't see him in the grid here tonight. Ryan Strunk right now ninth place. Jose Acosta, who is the fastest in practice, is right now in 10th. Moving on to the Super Cup Series, which is the, of course, it's pretty much the full NASCAR season, not the 13-week season that you see in the normal Cup Series. But Chris Severa right now at the top of the board right there with 5 wins. Eric Kling has 2 wins. Josh Schaffner in third with 2 wins also. Jose Acosta in fourth place in the Super Cup standings with 2 wins. Justin Levine, 2 wins in fifth place. Have not seen Levine on this Saturday night series in a little bit, so would not be surprised to see him kind of going down the board a little bit here. Also, Noah Bitts, he has not been really participating here in the last few races. He is right now in 6th place. Kenny Powell, expect him to see him go up the standings here. Of course, he is going to be making the grid here tonight. Pedro Enrique right now 8th place with 1 win. 9th place, Clayton Hoffman with 1 win. Greg Wychinski, he is in 10th. And looking a little bit further back into the points here, 11th place, Ryan Strunk, of course, has no wins. 12th, Al Kozlowski. 13th, Robert Pattengale. 14th, Paul Olson. 15th, Gary Adamson. And rounding out 16, because I know there are 16 playoff spots, if I'm not mistaken. 16th is Kenny Thompson, and I don't see him making the grid here. So definitely curious to see, some of these guys. Frank Flores, he is actually in 18th, and he is actually going to be making the grid here tonight. Would not be surprised to see him maybe move up the grid and take one of those playoff spots. Big Al.
Yeah, absolutely. That's got to be a mouthful as you just ran through both sets of points. So that's right. It's all going on here tonight as we are just getting into the second part of this Tucson Sound Art Cup. This will be the third race in that series. So hopefully, I think we'll see some good racing here, and maybe even see maybe a new winner on the leaderboard. I don't know. This thing could go either way, Brian.
That it could. It could go very much either way. I think it just depends on how consistent you are here. Especially, we've seen guys have problems with handling conditions on the longer run at this racetrack, especially on the exit of 4. You see a lot of guys get loose there. We talked about it on Thursday, I do believe, of how big that bump is coming out of 4. And it's hard to avoid it, too. It doesn't matter where you really go. You try to go underneath it, you try to go above it. A lot of times you're still going to end up hitting it. So I think it's just going to be something you're just going to have to be, be able to adapt and improvise to. And I think a lot of the guys that did race on Thursday are going to have a clear advantage when it comes to that, just to having that muscle memory of this racetrack. Looks
Yeah,
like,
definitely.
go ahead, sorry.
Yeah, definitely. The more time you actually put on the track, the better you're going to be. It's all about muscle memory and repetition. I guess that's the easiest way to say it. And yeah, I think you were getting ready to say it looks like qualifying is going to come to a close here. So I'll go ahead and hand that back over to you.
Well, I'm going to hand it over to the national anthem. We will be right back, ladies and gentlemen.
Oh, say, can't you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we held at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight o'er the ramparts we watched were so gallantly streaming. And the rocket's red glare, the bombs bursting in air, gave proof through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, say does that star-spangled banner yet wave o'er the land of the free and the home of the brave.
Race fans, it is time for those most famous words in motorsports.
Drivers, start your engines!
And we are back, ladies and gentlemen. I forgot to touch on the race facts for tonight. Of course, as I mentioned before, Rock Auto 200 at Nashville Superspeedway, 150 laps. Stages are going to be on 30 and 60, and 6 sets of tires. 5 of them are going to be in the pit, so that is counting the set is on the car already. 54 laps on the fuel run, and of course, the grid is set. Big Al, let's go ahead and make a run through that.
Roger that. Looks like Travis Manning is going to be starting on that pole. Alongside him is going to be Jose Acosta. Row 2 is Derek Heitman and Matt DeCiani. Row 3 is going to show Al Koslowski and Chris D. Johnson. Row 4 has got Frank Flores and Chris Severa. Row 5, Kenny Powell and Greg Wachinski. Row 6, John Mullins and Brian Johnson. Row 7, Josh Schaffner and Paul Olson. Row 8 is going to be Gary Adamson and Andrew Layton. Row 9 is going to be Robert Plattengill, and he's going to round out that 17-car field for us, Brian.
That he will. Going to be the last car. But, I mean, we know Robert Pattengill, though. I know we kind of called the LTAC series for the first time last night with Performance Motor Network, and saw Pattengill get himself a nice top 10. That's one thing about Pattengill. You can always expect him to probably survive the calamity that kind of ensues So I expect to see him moving up this leaderboard as the race goes on. Curious to see, Travis Manning got in the pole here. Definitely a great job to him. We know how important clean air is going to be. Hopefully he doesn't burn that equipment up.
Yeah, definitely seeing a little thing shake up a little bit here. As the top three guys here, we got Travis Manning, Jose Acosta, and Derek Heitman. That's going to lead this field off, and I don't think we've seen a lot of these guys actually on the pole here, because usually it's the same old, same old. So I'm excited about that alone.
Oh, it's definitely going to be an exciting one to see who's going to be able to have taken what they learned maybe in the A Opens or the NIS or maybe even on Thursday's race. But one thing that as we always kind of mention, this is a 75% fuel tank that can really really change the handling of the race car. And curious if some of these guys have made the necessary preparations to be ready for that. Definitely want to give a big shout out to Rock Auto for coming on board as the title sponsor for tonight's race, and also huge shout out to Tucson Sound Art, who is of course the sponsor for the this whole series here. So definitely a big shout out to those guys.
Yeah, absolutely. And as this thing gets rolling here, Brian, as the pace car is off, one thing is these first two stages, they're going to be 30 laps apiece, and that's going to give the drivers an opportunity to go out there and kind of put that hammer down, if you will, and get that fuel and tire data. Now, with this being Nashville, hopefully we will see a lot of green flag racing, and that way will allow us to go ahead and get into those green flag pit stops there later in that stage 3. So that's what I'm going to be waiting on. That's what I'm excited to see. But here's this thing gets ready to go. I think the one thing we want to see is just some hardcore fast racing.
And right now we're seeing a lot of kind of a higher temperature out there in Nashville right now, 98 degrees on the racetrack, 10-mile-an-hour wind coming from the east. That is a big wind right there. Could definitely affect some things. And there goes the pace car. Going to be heading down pit road for the first time here tonight for the Rock Auto 200. Travis Manning going to be entering the Geico restart zone. And there is the green flag waving out in the air. The 76 getting a really good restart. Able to stay side by side with Jose Acosta. Travis Manning going to hope those guys stay fighting side by side, Big Al.
Yeah, looks like Manning is going to go ahead and take and lead this field on around the corner. Now it's going to be with Chris Severa now making it 3 wide as he's going to come up alongside the 28 of Frank Flores. Christy Johnson's going to drop down in front of him. These guys, and just like that, the 28 of Frank Flores looks like he did jump right into Greg Wachinski. That's going to send Wachinski into the wall, probably going to bash his hopes and dreams of getting on the top 10 tonight, but no caution.
No caution. I definitely still want to take a second back to look back at this. Like, wow. Frank Flores just ending Greg Wachinski's night there. Goodness, that was quite a hit.
Yeah, that was quite a hit. Jose Acosta seems to be kind of off the pace a little bit as he has fallen all the way back to 5th place now. He's going to have Matt DeCiani on the inside of him trying to move himself on up into the top 5.
Sial Kozlowski right now up to 3rd here. Matt DeCiani getting a heck of a run on the bottom on Jose Acosta. I do believe he's going to be able to get clear. Maybe not. I don't know. Jose Acosta able to get the run on the top side. You see Chris Severa trying to decide which way he wants to go here. Of course, he is the Super Cup Series point standing leader right now as he gets really close to that the side of the 42. Definitely some heavy side drafting going on right now.
I think Severa's trying to exert his dominance right there by saying, hey, come on, let me get by you, man. And Jose Acosta realizing that if he doesn't get down lower on that racetrack, then he is probably going to continue to lose slots falling back now, as he has got Chris D. Johnson going to be chomping at the bit to go ahead and get around him also.
Well, one thing about it, it's going to be a factor of saving your equipment, your resources out here, especially on the long run. Oh, big loose condition there from Frank Flores into 28, I'm sorry.
Yeah, Frank was putting down some pretty decent lap times there, as he is a member of that MMR team. They also had just bought on, I believe, Derek Heitman is joining that team as well. So good to see some growth going on there for those guys.
Kenny Powell was verging on taking these guys 3 wide as he works on Chris Johnson, gets tied up the racetrack. This, of course, right now I do believe is for 7th place. Al Kozlowski's worked his way now up to 2nd as Derek Heitman falls back to third place. Matt DeCiani trying to trail and catch him.
Yeah, hopefully these guys are definitely being cognizant of the fact that, we still got a lot of racing to go in this first stage. And that is true, but a lot of guys are running from the back there. And I think here at about lap 12 is when the tires actually kind of hit that first slump, if you will. And that's when we'll see lap times actually start to fall off. But right now, drivers are still running in the low 30s here.
Yeah, definitely some very quick times going down right now. And what we've seen pretty much is 15 to 20 laps into a run. That's when the tire wear really starts to show its face here. That's when the fall off really starts to hit. We're only 7 laps into this thing.
And one person that I'm going to be keeping my eyes on is definitely going to be Travis Manning, because he is definitely out to a blistering pace. He's running in that clean air, but we know when we see tracks like Nashville, once drivers get out there like that, sometimes the whole field just kind of reels them back in.
Yeah, 100%. He might not be really conserving when it comes to his pace right now to conserve that equipment. So I would not be surprised to see these guys start to catch him. I mean, you can already even see Al Kozlowski maybe starting to catch up a little bit here. Only 0.8 separate them now. Was over a second just a moment ago.
The Roger drivers are now kind of, for the most part, starting to get single file. Looks like Chris Rivera is going to be looking on the inside of that one car, Matt DeCiani. DeCiani's going to be on the high side. Doesn't look like he's going to contend, but here comes Jose Acosta. It looks like he's got his legs back under him, and he's going to be trying to get back into the top 5.
Of course, Jose Acosta was the fastest man in practice. Would not be surprised to see him come out here and maybe make something happen. Definitely show his, make sure everybody knows he exists out here. As Chris Rivera starting to put some pressure here on Derek Heitman, going to be trying to take over third.
Yeah, Rivera definitely has his car dialed in to be up front, whether that be in the clean air or just leading the pack. But he is blistering fast for the long haul once he gets out front. So Derek Heitman, good job on him qualifying. At least he gets a good pit road position.
Yeah, that definitely is going to help out quite a bit. And speaking of pit road, when these guys have to do green flag pit stops, that is such a dangerous ordeal. I think this track is one of the most dangerous pit roads that you can really have to deal with, just considering it a huge change in banking that you see here. As Chris Rivera has taken over third place, is going to try to catch up to Al Kozlowski. Rivera has turned the fastest lap of the race thus far, 29.930.
Go, Chris, go. Farther back in the pack, the G&G teammates of Kenny Powell and Chris D. Johnson are running nose to tail there as they're trying to actually reel in that pack. Further back behind him, you got John Mullins and Brian Johnson as this thing just keeps rolling on. Now, the funny thing is what you said about pit stops. What we did notice in that Thursday race, pit stops were actually responsible for one of the cautions. So hopefully drivers will be cognizant of entering pit road tonight so that we just don't have that slip up on us the same way, Brian.
Yeah, that's 100% true. I do believe we did see someone cause a caution just by missing pit road. Hopefully that doesn't happen again, but it definitely could, especially once these tires are getting really worn out. I mean, it's hard to get that thing slowed down. And also, like I said, that change in banking, just incredibly dangerous. The way that works is we see Jose Acosta still trying to put something on Matt DeCiani, but it's just so hard to pass here at this racetrack. I mean, I think no matter what part of the run you're in, it's going to be very difficult to pass here. We do see John Mullins trying to make something happen on Brian Johnson. And that is a little bit further back here for ninth place, but it looks like Mullins he was able to get alongside of him, but he was just not able to get the momentum on the exit, which is, I think that's what makes it so difficult to pass here, Big Al.
Absolutely. And this racetrack does not, it seems like it's so wide and it is a multi-groove track, but as these cars start to get a little bit tighter, it does make that a lot harder to pass, because you end up having to try to get that arc where you're coming down into the turn to be able to drive off, and drivers are going to ultimately have to start backing those turns up.
Oh, yeah. And a lot of these cars are on edge for sure, too. I know Chris Rivera definitely on a very, very loose machine. You might see him have some wigglies, but one good thing, he's able to handle that kind of a race car, but still he's not above making a mistake, just like anybody out here that could easily make a mistake. But Travis Manning looking really strong right now. He's actually increased his lead now, 1.4, 1.5 now on Al Kozlowski, so he is just driving away as now we're halfway through this stage, 15 laps to go.
Yeah, looks like Travis Manning is driving a hot rod here tonight, Brian. You said that the best. But, a lot of guys running different setups out here, and some of these setups are loose. But the key is going to be trying to keep those right side tires cool. You don't want to burn that right rear off, and you don't want to wear that right front out, because as you're coming around on this track, you're really punishing those tires. Awesome to see that Manning is actually still keeping up with the pace that he's been running. Looks like Chris Severa now is going to get on the inside of Al Kozlowski now, and he's going to move up to that second place position.
Yeah, I feel like Al Kozlowski definitely probably burned his equipment up, was able to fight his way all the way up to second. But it looks like he is running out of steam right now, as now even the 76 of Derek Heitman is starting to put some pressure back on him.
Yeah, that's because Heitman has got Matt DeCiani dead in his rearview mirror, and Matt DeCiani being pursued by Jose Acosta. The race is on. We're over halfway through this first stage, and I think drivers now is starting to get a little bit racy, as Matt DeCiani now is going to be on the inside of Derek Heitman, and he's going to go ahead and take what looks like it's going to be the fourth position.
Yeah, a lot of these guys, I think, are even getting somewhat tight. I mean, we saw Al Kozlowski, was about to get passed by that 76. The 76 was trying to make that pass happen, but just was not able to do it, and that put him right under fire from DeCiani. Now DeCiani's going to work on Al Kozlowski. You see Kenny Powell has caught up to the back here. Him and Christy Johnson, of course, working together pretty well. Brian Johnson now also up here. So you could throw a blanket really over this this top 10 here, except for, I'd say, Travis Manning.
Yeah, and that's the thing, though, too, Brian, because this top 10, these are those points paying positions, and these points are very valuable. And so as we come to 10 to go in this first stage, these guys have to go now. It's time to go. Put the hammer down. Let's see what we can do out of this thing. As the 76 is putting every bit of that bumper he can on Al Kozlowski, because he knows that if he doesn't maintain his position and make that car mighty wide, that one, Matt DeCiani is going to be chomping at the bit to get around him as well.
Yeah, I think a lot of these guys are under a tremendous amount of pressure. I mean, you see Jose Acosta, trying to pressure Matt DeCiani. Oh, Chris Johnson getting really loose back there in seventh. A lot of these guys are starting to struggle.
Yeah, and here comes Brian Johnson on the inside. Kenny Powell slid up the racetrack trying to avoid Chris D. But just like that, Chris Johnson's other teammate in that Southern Spiral pipe forward is going to be that four-car of Brian Johnson, the Johnson & Johnson.
Oh!
Al Kozlowski really loose down on the bottom of the racetrack, and that's going to cost the field to check up just a little bit. Jose Acosta now on the inside of Matt DeCiani, as he is going to be riding, trying to get back into the top 5. Travis Manning showing no signs of slowing down, though, as he has got that 18 on a rail, and he is gone to the races, Brian.
Yeah, he is gone. That is for sure. The 88, though, is causing all sorts of problems right now. He is having some major handling conditions that is making me think a caution could come out at any time here because of the way he's handling right now. Jose Acosta side by side.
We don't need no stinking cautions.
We might not need one, but Al Kozlowski's getting ready to answer that question. He is having all kinds of problems right now, trying to hold the bottom and protect it, but he is holding up these guys tremendously, and this is getting to be a scary situation right now.
Because what we talked about, it gets extremely difficult to pass in these situations, especially as this race weighs on, because these tires are getting a little bit worn. So it's not easy to get around Kozlowski. DeCiani is trying to do that, but I think it looks like we're getting ready to have a 3-wide situation. As Jose Acosta now is on the inside, DeCiani's definitely he's going to be trying to use that bumper here really soon, Brian.
Oh, man, Al Kozlowski's almost coming down on the 42 there. The 42 going to try to get the run on the exit. I think he might have Al Kozlowski here. Man, everybody is just a bottleneck right now.
And they are using about every inch of that racetrack on the low line that they can. Looks like Kozlowski now is going to push up high. Sorry about that. Oh, Kenny Powell gets in to Matt DeCiani. DeCiani and Powell both getting collected. Looks like DeCiani went one way, Powell went to the other, man. That is so unfortunate for those guys. And as it is still early in the first stage, you want to take another look at that one, Brian.
That we do. I think it was just so much of a cluster over here that kind of was hard for Kenny Powell to probably avoid hitting Matt DeCiani. Oh, yeah. He just got a really big run up to DeCiani. Didn't realize DeCiani was going to be slowing down there.
And then Powell takes a hard whack into that outside wall, and then looks like he also got a little T-bone action there from Frank Flores. Very unfortunate set of circumstances for those guys, because anytime these cars get punched into mile, Brian, they do not fare well.
Oh yeah, I mean, Kenny Powell had such a tremendous run on the exit there that he had no. Look at that! Oh yeah, I see what you're talking about. Frank Flores T-boned Kenny Powell there. Who was that just went straight through there without having any kind of damage at all?
I think that would have been the 25 of Andrew Layton.
I think that was the 25 of Andrew Layton. I think you hit it right on the head. I want to see a cockpit camera from him. See, he saw the C's part right in front of him. Somehow got through that, and then Frank Flores not as lucky. I mean, look at that. He barely had enough room to make it through that. That was quite a dramatic thing. I bet he was. I bet his heart rate went up quite a bit when he saw that in front of him.
Yeah, absolutely. And you know, this is going to kind of change things up a little bit too, Brian, because it looks like there are quite a few takers on pit road. Looks like Paul Olson's down pit road, Matt DeCiani's on pit road, the 17 of Robert Pattengale's on pit road, as well as Kenny Powell and the 28 of Frank Flores. So, assuming that those other guys that pitted might be short pitting the stage, because when this thing does go green again, will be 2 to go, I believe. And so, seems like they'll probably stay out after the stage and start the next stage off with better track position, because so far Travis Manning has been out front, and if that clean air is any indication of what's going on, no one's even been able to get close to him.
Yeah, for sure. We kind of saw this same kind of gamble happening on Thursday, where guys kind of went down pit road right before the stage was getting ready to end because of kind of opportune cautions. Chris Severa also, I do believe, was one of the guys that went down pit road right now. So means that I do believe 7th on back right now is on fresh tires. Definitely going to be curious to see how this works out. I mean, they should have a tremendous, a lot better pace than everybody else too. Not necessarily going to be at the start of stage 2. They're not, but it's not going to be as bad as I'm sure that Travis Manning. The top 6 right now. They are on 27 lap old tires.
That is a lot here.
Yeah, that it is very much a lot. I mean, that's the fall off we've seen already has been, almost a second, closer and closer we get to this end of this stage. And of course, we're still going to have an even longer run later in that final stage when we go back green, probably around 65. We could see a green flag pit stop in that. I think it's definitely very possible we will see a green flag pit stop, just because we don't have quite as many people as we did on Thursday. I mean, Thursday we had 34 drivers making the field.
Yeah, absolutely. That was a very, very big field there on Thursday. But, just because we don't have as many cars here tonight doesn't mean it hasn't been just as equally exciting, Brian. It looks like the lights are out on the pace car. It's time to double them up. Travis Manning's going to be down on the bottom. It's going to be interesting to see what kind of launch he gets out of that Geico restart zone, because he's got Derek Heitman beside him, and, he is definitely going to be wanting to try to make a name for himself here.
Yeah, that he is. Definitely a new face I don't think we've seen a lot of here in the ISCA Tucson Sound Art Cup Series. But pace car lights are out, and we're getting ready to go back green. Is that 18 Chevrolet going to be leading us there?
Yeah, so we got the front line on the inside, and we got MMR on the outside. So these two teams that we hadn't had a lot of excitement with being out front so far in season 2, but you know what? They are out front now, and it looks like if they play their cards right, they could get a nice little bit of payday here at the end of this stage.
Oh yeah, definitely the points are very, very important here for these stages. I mean, getting stage wins, if you finish well at the end, I mean, you don't even have to win this thing to get some major points. Just to get them stage wins is very important, as we see Travis Manning just gassing it up and leaving everybody in his dust. Side by side, Jose Acosta and John Mullins.
Yeah, Mullins is going to wash up high on the racetrack, and that's going to allow quite a few people to come by him. Look at Chris Severa go as he is now charging on the outside past Jose Acosta. And like you said, Severa's on fresh tires. Looks like he might just have enough time to make a charge here and possibly go for the lead as he comes now on the inside of Derek Heitman. I don't think anybody's going to be able to hold him off.
Yeah, I think that's going to be very difficult. Travis Manning going to be lucky to hold him off, too. I mean, I think Chris Severa has just enough time to maybe throw one in on him. But I don't know. We'll have to wait and see. I mean, Travis Manning is not going to be an easy customer to pass, even though Chris Severa is on those new tires here. We enter 3 and 4. Severa's got the inside, the dominant line. I think Severa is easily going to take the lead here and win stage 1. What a job from him. Man, I did not expect him to be able to come up through this field that quick, but that just shows you how much those new tires mean here. Chris Severa, of course, like I just said, your stage 1 winner. Travis Manning, 2nd place. Derek Heitman in 3rd place. 4th place, Jose Acosta. 5th place, Brian Johnson. 6th place, John Mullins. 7th place, Gary Adamson. 8th place, Al Kozlowski. 9th place, Andrew Layton. Chris Johnson going to be finishing in 10th. So those are your points-paying positions. We're going to take a quick step away while these guys facilitate their pit stops here, and we'll be right back with your stage 1 winner.
I used to have to go in to the auto parts store. Paid too much, never find quite what I'm looking for. Now I just go online to Rock Auto and see all the parts my car will ever need. Lower prices, more parts, more brands. It's so easy to find the right parts fast. All the parts your car will ever need. Rock Auto. All the parts your car will ever need. RockAuto.com.
And we are back, ladies and gentlemen. Of course, we're going to see a lot of guys going down pit road here after, kind of an interesting gamble we saw with guys kind of shortcutting the stage. There goes Travis Manning, going to be leading them down along with the 76, Jose Acosta, the 64, John Mullins, Al Kozlowski. Of course, Chris Severa not taking that trip down pit road. He is your stage 1 winner. And I do believe we have him in the booth right now. Chris, how are you feeling? That you think that track position is going to be key? Do you think you can hold off Travis Manning with those newer tires?
I don't think you heard the question, Brian. It looks like he just got in here.
Oh, okay. Sorry about that. Chris Severa, we got you in the booth. Do you read us?
You.
All righty. There he is. Chris Severa, you kind of took a little bit of a gamble there. Got you a stage win, though. We know you got a lot of speed here around this racetrack. Do you think you're going to be able to hold on to the track position here now that everybody else is going to be getting on a couple lap newer tires?
Yeah, luckily there we only really had to go hard for about a lap and a half. So I think that'll be savable, but we'll see. Travis is super quick on the long run. But I think I'll take the lap disadvantage and clean air over that. But yeah, we're definitely going to be super saving from the beginning here.
Well, I know you've already been putting a lot of time in this week. Didn't get to race on Thursday, of course, but I saw you did an A Open, I do believe, able to win that. How does that do for your confidence out here? Do you think you have the confidence you can win it here tonight?
In the A Open, you don't really know who you're going to run against, but there's a lot faster guys in here, I definitely think. So, we'll see. As far as track confidence and car confidence, I get to know what the car's going to do and all that, but yeah, you still got to go out and execute it.
100%. I mean, and also, 75% fuel tank difference. Do you think that's actually causing a little bit of a big deal when it come to handling of this racetrack versus what you maybe had experience with in the A Open?
I really don't think so. I haven't made many adjustments for that, at least with this car. The rear end's completely different, so I know it's just extra weight, but I haven't noticed a considerable difference.
Well, we definitely appreciate the insight, man. Congratulations on your stage 1 victory. Hopefully we'll definitely get to talk to you more here later. Who can we shout out after your victory here?
Well, just everyone at Gas and Go, Team Watson Racing, everyone at Sim Apex, or fucking, my bad for language, Fan Attack, real appreciate it, but yeah, thanks guys.
No problem at all. That is Chris Severa, potty mouth up here in the booth. Your stage 1 winner, though. Great job to him. He's going to be having his hands full, though, with a lot of guys on newer tires. But like he said, not too much newer tires. I mean, only really had to go 2 laps green there. So I have confidence he might be able to hold off a charge from a lot of these guys. But it looks like Manning fell through the field a little bit there. Maybe even lost a position.
I think. I hate to cut you off, man, but my mom just beeped in and she said that he said trucking. Yo, he's talking about trucking?
He said trucking. That's what he said.
So thanks, Chris Severa, for a shout-out to ATS right there.
Well, pace car lights are out. We're getting ready to head back to some green flag racing. I do believe the top 4 right now are on 2-lap old tires. They're actually on 9-lap old tires, but I would really say that they're only 2-lap old tires because they only did 2 laps under green on this set. So curious to see how that's going to play out. I don't think it's not going to be very noticeable in the beginning.
Yeah, I think as these cars roll on into this stage, I think you're going to find out those tires are actually going to come to them. The thing that I'm going to be watching, and I want everybody else to pay attention to, let's see how that frontline 18 car of Travis Manning handles this being within the field now, because he is right now starting off in looks like 8th place, and he hadn't been that deep in the field since we started. Lights off on the pace car. I think he's going to be dropping on down here, and Chris Severa is going to take this field green as he is now getting ready to enter in that Geico restart zone.
Yeah, we saw on Thursday, Clayton Hoffman, when he started back in the pack, I mean, he still was able to drive his way through. So hopefully that won't impact Travis Manning too much here. We'll have to wait and see. You never know. Him being a little bit too aggressive could cause problems, especially dealing with slower cars.
Absolutely. As now he's looking to the inside of Paul Olson, trying to get by that 43 car. 64 car of Mr. Mullins is right behind him.
Yeah, already 18 struggling a little bit here to even get around Paul Olson. Olson showing a lot of pace up on that top side. See the 76 trying to get around John Mullins on the top here. Chris Severa loving every bit of it. He's got some clean real estate out in front of him. As everybody really in the top 4 is single file. Now, I spoke too soon. Matt DeCiani challenging for second.
Yeah, he's going to get that run on Brian Johnson, come on the inside, but Chris D. Johnson is right behind him. And look at that. Here comes Travis Manning, still trying to get around Paul Olson. Paul Olson not quite giving up that position. Like we said, it is hard to pass it because you can ride alongside somebody, but trying to keep that momentum up off the turn as you drive through that corner, that's the hard part. And you see Olson now checks up. Manning's going to get a great run off that. He's going to try to take that momentum and pull up on Chris D. Johnson. But just like that, here comes Mullins on the inside. He's going to be pushed out by that 76 car, Derek Heitman.
Yeah, the 76 definitely trying to make something happen on the top side as he is now side by side. Paul Olson getting now passed by Al Kozlowski. So a lot of changing going on in this pack right now. A lot of changing in positions, I should say, as Travis Manning tries to go up on the top side to get a bit of momentum here to get by the 48 of Chris Johnson. Looks like he's going to get side by side on the top side. That Chevrolet looking quick.
Yeah, Johnson's been carrying pretty good pace too. But Manning, I'm just wondering how much of his tires is he actually going to burn up trying to get to Chris Severa? Because remember, catching somebody is one thing, but passing them, that's a whole different buggy.
Oh, yeah, and, having to run outside of the preferred groove a lot of times when you're trying to make these passes happen, it burns your tires up a little bit more. So when Manning gets up to Chris Severa, I would not be surprised to see if maybe he's kind of on an equal playing field with Severa because, he's had to work through this pack.
Yeah, now he's going to try to get that drive on the inside of Johnson. He is going to do that. Now that means he's got Matt DeCiani in his sights. DeCiani slowly closing that gap on Severa. Severa not actually being able to get a run away with that thing quite like Travis Manning did in the first stage, but he is still holding that lead.
Yeah, and I also got to keep in mind, too, that Severa even said it when we talked to him that he was, kind of in save mode a little bit when it comes to saving, his tires. We saw Manning really pull away on that last stage. I think Severa's got an opposite kind of thought process here. He just wants to go as fast as he can to stay in the lead but not create a huge gap because he knows that means he'll be burning his equipment up.
Yeah, I know, and Matt DeCiani is probably pressuring him just a little bit harder than he wants to be at this stage. But, you know, the key to him is going to be maintaining that lead and trying to keep that car out in the good air, that Fanatec Ford that he's pushing here for us tonight.
Matt DeCiani. The more these guys fight, also, the more Travis Manning is going to catch up. And Manning has caught up pretty well here, now only separated by just a couple tenths, as we are going to see a three-way battle for the lead here. And what an exciting battle it is going to be, as here comes Manning trying to build another run up on the top. I love Manning's style here, what he's doing here. You see he enters really high and then kind of drives it down onto the bottom on, you know, kind of the exit of 3 into 4, or an exit of 1 into 2. And that just gives him such a monstrous run on the exit. And look at him now on the inside of Matt DeCiani, going to take over second.
Yeah, DeCiani not even going to challenge. He's just going to let that 18 go by. But now, you know, Manning is still putting down some pretty blistering lap times. He was just slightly faster than Chris Severa on that last run. But now, you know, I'm interested to see if Severa is just going to kind of let him go, if he's just going to defend his position.
Jose Acosta just taking over 9th place, able to get around Paul Olson. Now Olson going to get passed by Kenny Powell. Something's wrong with that machine. That 43 not handling well right now.
Yeah, good to see Kenny Powell back on the racetrack. He actually was the recipient of the lucky dog as well, so he is now back on the lead lap, even though that contact that he previously made with the 25, I can't remember who else was involved in that right now. Frank Flores.
Yeah, 100%. I mean, surprised to see that car handling as good as it is. I mean, now that he's worked himself back up into the top 10. But Matt, I think Travis Manning's having more problems than he thought he was going to have getting around Chris Severa. Severa is holding on right now.
And that's the thing, clean air here is such a big deal. So Manning is definitely going to have to try to get a run on Severa going in, but Severa probably going to arc in and maintain that inside, because if you watch that 62 rotate in, he's on the throttle right back there. Be interesting to ride with him or ride with Travis Manning, get just a perspective on how, you know, he is sizing up Severa here for a couple of laps.
Yeah, I think this is the best view in the house right now, watching through the cockpit camera here of Travis Manning as he's going to try to wrestle this lead away from Chris Severa. This is Hulk Hogan versus, I'd say, Andre the Giant going on right now for the lead, as we are, I do believe, going to be 13 laps to the end of the stage here in just a moment here.
It's interesting that Travis Manning isn't shifting, so he is running one of the different setups. There are two different setups here. There's a 4-gear setup and a 5th-gear setup. So I think we are safe to assume that he is running the 5th-gear setup, and I think he has got that thing dialed in for himself, as he is going to continue to try to get around Severa. But Severa not showing any side of weakening, as he is definitely going to just keep trying to make that 62 Fanatec Ford wide as he can going into those turns.
Yeah, I think you're right, though. I mean, I know for a fact Chris Severa is using a 4th-gear setup. So Travis Manning, I think you might be onto something. I think he might even be using a 5th gear, like you were saying. And that you can, both of those, you know, kind of, I'd say, techniques of building a race car are, I'd say, viable. We're just going to have to see which one kind of comes to actually be successful here tonight. I think it's just going to be all about execution. But I think Chris Severa, one good thing about a 4th-gear setup is it doesn't take as long to get the power down. As you see, even Travis Manning having a little bit of problem on the exit there, getting a little bit loose.
Yeah, definitely, to me, the 4th-gear setup rotates better, because I feel like I have better control of the car with the throttle than I do with the brakes, if that makes any sense whatsoever.
Oh, yeah. No, it makes a ton of sense. I mean, because a lot of times, you know, I think that's why, you know, I would say Chris Severa's setup's definitely on the looser end of things. You know, you have to use that gas to turn it, and you can see that right now. I mean, he's definitely on edge too, but I think Travis Manning, with that lack of clean air and how hard he's been working to try to get over here to Chris Severa to be able to make this pass happen, I think that really they are on equal footing now when it comes to tire wear. I think that they are kind of equal now.
Yeah, and further back in the pack, looks like Brian Johnson's going to try to get on the inside of Matt DeCiani. These guys are battling back there pretty hard for that 3rd place. Just like that, looks like Derek Heitman got into the back of Chris D. Johnson and gave him a little bit of a love tap. I think he just drove in there a little bit too hard. Be interested to see who that's going to affect more, Johnson or Heitman.
Yeah, I don't think Chris Johnson will be very happy about that one in the slightest.
Well, the last thing you want is to be going into the turn and then just, have somebody drive in a little bit too hard and just kind of smack you. But luckily for Chris Johnson, he was actually able to keep that car under control. And now he is going to continue to battle Jose Acosta and come on, try to move up to the 7th place. And here he comes running around the outside of John Mullins. Oh, he's going to wash up high on the outside. That's going to cause him to lose a couple of positions and a whole lot of momentum.
Yeah, definitely. I think this is very much a track to where it's very easy to overdrive. You dive it in there on the entry, and you think you got so much, I'd say, confidence that you're going to make it through the rest of the corner because the entry feels so good. But then when you get to closer to the end, the exit, that's when you start to feel like, oh, I don't think I can make this. I got to lift, and that's what we just saw with Chris Johnson. Lost a lot of momentum.
Jose Acosta now looking at the back of John Mullins.
Jose looking really quick right now, able to drive up to Mullins, but it's going to be so hard to pass. I mean, a lot of these guys are just having a tremendous issue with actually making those passes happen. I mean, one thing about these cars, very aero sensitive, so the closer and closer you get to another car, the less that car that you're driving is going to handle.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, you can make guys loose just by getting up on them, either the side draft or coming up too close to them on the rear. That these cars are very susceptible to dirty air, and that's what these drivers are really battling with right now. I think as the tires get older, it makes it a little bit more, because the cars get looser. That's the one thing that they're battling right now. They're battling loose conditions there as they're trying to maneuver and navigate around this racetrack.
Well, now we have 5 laps to go here in the stage, and already tire wear has been a huge, I think, huge variable these guys are having to deal with right now. I mean, our leader right now hit a 29.930 as his fastest lap. His lap times right now, 31.1, and most guys are right around in that same kind of level. See, Brian Johnson has worked his way up to 3rd place. He's running some of the fastest laps on the racetrack right now, even faster than our 2 leaders.
Matt DeCiani checked up, but coming out of the turn, that's going to allow John Mullins. There's a 3-way battle going on right now for that 5th place. Jose Acosta now trying to be on the outside of John Mullins. He wants that 5th place position because he knows this stage is slowly coming to an end, as we'll have 2 to go next time the leaders cross the line.
Yeah, these guys fighting tooth and nail, just trying to get every point they can. They know that, the championship, definitely an ISCA championship, is a huge accomplishment, just considering the level of talent that we always have in this series.
Looks like pit road is going to be closed as we are now 2 to go in the end of this stage right here. Stage 2 going to be in the books.
Jose Acosta trying to fight with John Mullins right now, trying to maintain 5th place. And looks like he's going to be able to get a huge run on exit there, and I do believe he might have this sealed up here as he does get clear of John Mullins. Mullins has been looking good. That 64 looking a lot better than what I think he usually does.
Yeah, and Derek Heitman are right there behind Mullins. He has definitely got to be pleased with his performance here tonight, as well as Jose Acosta. These guys have definitely been battling tooth and nail, trying to not only maintain their position, but to gather up these very valuable stage points. The stage 1 is 1 to go here before this thing comes into the green. Chris Severa now taking that white flag.
Chris Severa able to do what we thought probably was not possible, hold off Travis Manning, and he has definitely done that. He has just maintained the gap. I mean, that's exactly what he was doing there. I mean, you could say that, oh, he was being challenged hard by Matt DeCiani. He was being challenged hard by Travis Manning. But he knew what he needed to do. Just protect the bottom. Protect your position. Hold a gap, but don't hold too big of a gap. Don't burn those tires up. And it worked. I mean, I don't think even on Thursday we saw guys kind of take that same gamble. It didn't pay off like it did here for Chris Severa. As the stage is over, Chris Chris Rivera, your Stage 2 winner. Travis Manning going to finish here second place. Brian Johnson in third. Al Kozlowski in fourth place. Jose Acosta in fifth. Sixth place, John Mullins. Seventh place, Derek Heitman. Eighth place, Chris Johnson. Ninth place is Matt DeCiani. And rounding out our top 10 stage points positions here is Andrew Layton.
And with that, Brian, let's take a quick break and let's get a word from our sponsors. And when we come back, we'll see if we can't dial up maybe Travis Manning.
There are moments that surprise and delight the mind and the senses. Introducing Sound Art, the world's first truly customizable, concealed, flat panel art speaker system. A revolutionary combination of incredible sound delivered from your most meaningful pictures. When art and technology intersect, there is a seamless blend of creativity and function.
Come alive in the streetlight, pulling at the stars in the moonlight. Every time I feel you close.
With Sound Art, anyone can print their own artwork or pick from numerous licensed artwork that we have. The possibilities are limitless. Enjoy beautiful and amazing sound throughout your home. The entire surface of your artwork generates incredibly robust sound. Your art never sounded so good.
And we are back, ladies and gentlemen. I do believe we were going to be trying to get Mr. Travis Manning up here in the booth once he completes his pit stop here. And it looks like, wow, Brian Johnson winning the race off of pit road. How did he do that? He took 4 tires. I just think he had a really, really good stop. Be honest with you, I wouldn't be surprised to see, oh, Johnson spins it on exit of pit road. What is happening here?
That's going to cost them just a little bit. But, hey, just like that, I think we got Travis Manning. Hey, Travis, this is Big Al up in the booth. You got me?
Yeah, I got you, bud.
Hey, wow, congratulations there for running so well. Looks like you were actually able to dominate and come up just a little bit short there in the first 2 stages. But, you know, still, that front line car of yours is doing pretty good.
Yeah, it's things, rocket ship, frontline, Brooks Sturting, Will Cannon, all the guys that work so hard on these cars. I mean, they gave me an absolute rocket ship here, just clean air, man. It's worth so much. I was able to run Chris down. I think considering I had dirty air the entire run and I was still right there says so much about this car. So, you know, unfortunately with Brian's air, fortunate for me, unfortunate for Brian, we got the clean air we need. We just got to take advantage of it and hopefully we can pull this thing off.
Yeah, definitely. So is that car set up more for the long haul or the short haul?
Oh, baby, I need it to go green, all green.
Well, good deal. So did you think that your car was going to be so dominant coming in here tonight? Or, I mean, you knew you had a rocket ship, but, wow, you're definitely putting on a clinic.
I'll be honest with you. I had a lot of confidence in it, but I didn't have a whole lot of confidence in me. I haven't been doing much racing lately. This car, I didn't care for the car until the latest update, and now all of a sudden I love it. So I didn't really have the confidence in myself. I knew the car could do it, but, you know, so far so good. Still got plenty of racing here, 87 laps to go. So got 87 laps to make a mistake. Just got to keep it clean. We'll see how it finishes.
Well, hopefully you can keep it clean, and hopefully it will stay green. But before I let you go, bud, anybody you'd like to give a shout-out to?
Yeah, I got a bruising on the car tonight. Wanted to have bruising cues, but it's just not how it worked out tonight. But thanks to both of them, Don Wheaton Chevrolet, everybody over at Frontline Esports. I mean, they kill it week in, week out. I came out of the woodworks, and they gave me a great race car. So big shout-out to those guys.
Well, big shout-out to you too, sir, because you're making it happen. So thank you very much, and good luck to you for the rest of the race.
Hey, thanks, guys. Appreciate it.
That was Travis Manning, your second-place finisher in Stage 2.
Okay, so, Brian, now that we've talked to the second-place finisher for both first and second stages, right? Both Stage 1 and Stage 2. Did you notice what the Stage 1 and Stage 2 winner did while I was doing the interview?
I do believe he went back down pit road.
So that means that he was probably going down there to try to get as much gas as he could shoved into that 62 Ford. And you know what that means. That means Severa's going to be in it for the long haul. So I think he just revealed his strategy to us.
Yeah, that was a very interesting call for him to go down that late of a call. Wonder how that definitely could play out. We'll have to wait and see how that does. I mean, he's going to be able to go a little bit longer. Hopefully, he probably might be holding some gas in his pockets and in his mouth right now. He can spit into the tank.
Yeah, and plus he'll be able to save his tires as we get ready to go. Oh, Manning spins it just a little bit, but he gets it kicked back into gear, and he's going to go ahead and get out to a launch. Jose Acosta going to go ahead and try to get in that second place position. Travis Manning doing exactly what he said he was going to do. He's going to try to keep that thing in the clean air. Alex Esclausi back up here now. He is running in third place. And then just like that, John Mullins and Derek Heitman are going to be battling for that fifth place position.
Yeah, definitely some big battling going on right now from a lot of these drivers here. We saw Al Kozlowski in stage one was really, really quick on the short run, but this is when the long run is going to be really the most necessary thing. I'm curious if any of these guys made any adjustments to get those cars, maybe handle a little bit better. I mean, the track conditions could have changed also. I know we were looking at a 98-degree track. What's the temperature now, Big Al?
Temperature on the track right now is going to be 93 degrees. It's still partly cloudy. Looks like that wind is going to be out of the east at 6 miles per hour. I think Chris Severa's strategy is just going to be kind of ride in the back, just kind of save his tires, be patient. You don't want to get out there and have to run like Travis Manning is. He is going to be running at a blistering pace because the guys behind him are going to be chasing him down. And slowly, I think that car might fall off. And, who knows? We're just going to have to see.
Yeah, we'll definitely have to see here. I mean, Manning was capable of building such a tremendous lead in stage one. Would have been a stage one winner if a caution hadn't came out, and we saw a little bit of an interesting pit strategy. But Jose Acosta doing an excellent job keeping right there with Travis Manning. I think Acosta has got a good chance here tonight to maybe make that a third win on the season, just considering, what he's, his fastest. He was fastest in practice, but, of course, hot lapping is not what you need at a track like this. You need to put the whole package together.
And this is the time where those setups are going to get a chance to shine because, this is what you build the car for. All week, all of your test sessions, all of those A Opens, all of those NIS races, you're doing that just for this long run that's on right here. So you're hoping that everybody can keep their stuff together and keep those flags out of the air until it's time to wave that white flag there at the end of this thing.
Definitely got to say hats off to Greg Wachinski back onto the racetrack. Of course, he's 21 laps down, but has got that damage fixed, and he has a don't give up attitude. Got to love that.
Yeah, and same thing with Frank Flores. He took a big shot there into Kenny Powell, but both those two drivers are still rolling in the top 10, Brian.
Yeah, definitely loving that. Glad those guys didn't have too much damage. I mean, we've said it the kind of time before about these next-gen cars. They're pretty tough. I mean, the chassis are really, really tough. And, usually if you didn't hurt your, I'd say, suspension or, your camber or anything like that, I think you might be okay. But one thing that we have noticed, too, that, at first you're going to be quick and be able to hang out with those guys. But if the camber has been messed up at all, it could cause that tire to wear prematurely.
Yeah, absolutely. And speaking of quickest car on the racetrack, that time was none other than Chris Severa as he is moving slowly through the field. He was just actually able to pass Matt DeCiani, and that's going to move him up into that 8th position.
Yeah, now we're going to try to chase down Kenny Powell. A lot of spreading out going on right now in this pack. Not as close of racing as we saw in earlier stages. And I think that shows, these guys know that this is for the long haul right here. I can't afford to fight with you right now. You know what I mean?
Yeah, absolutely. I think that's what Travis Manning is doing because he realizes, man, if I try to – you have to run your own race. And I'm going to say this at least twice more tonight. You cannot get caught up in someone else's race. You have to stay to your plan. As Chris Severa now is filling up Kenny Powell's rearview mirror with that neon green Fanatec folder.
Yeah, Severa looking really quick as he tries to get up to Kenny Powell. Powell, even though they are teammates, probably not just going to let him go. I mean, I think when it comes to racing, being a teammate does not necessarily mean you're actually really going to be working together. I mean, you're just kind of loosely teammates, I'd say. It's not like, if you were playing football or basketball where that is your teammate. You are actually trying to help each other out. I mean, this is more co-opetition, I'd say.
Yeah, co-opetition, that's exactly what it is. And these guys are definitely co-op competitive. I don't even know if I said that right. But anyway, I'm just going to roll.
We're making up words. It don't matter. Let's roll with it.
Rolling with it. They're co-op competitive. Ultra co-op competitive is what they are.
Oh, yeah. You see Severa really trying to work his way, and now he's going to try to dive it in on the inside. Kenny Powell not going to give him a lot of room, and we haven't really even talked about that apron. You've seen a couple guys go down there on that apron on the front stretch. I don't know if I'd really recommend that. I mean, it really does burn that tire up a little bit more, but Severa felt confident enough he needed to get around Kenny Powell and not waste any time.
Yes, if this concrete racetrack doesn't chew those tires up enough going down on that apron, you are absolutely correct. But guess what, Brian? We are halfway through this thing. So drivers definitely have settled into a race rhythm because it looks like this is going to be a long green flag run. Everybody's kind of getting in the single file and they're in conserve save mode, race mode. I like it because I want to conserve the opportunity to have those green flag pit stops.
Oh, yeah, definitely, for sure. We're now 14 laps into this run right now. So a lot of guys just barely starting to actually feel the wear on those tires. Still some pretty quick lap times being turned out there. Al Kozlowski's falling outside of now the top 5, now back to 6th place. So definitely has not cured his handling woes when it comes to a little bit of a longer run. So he's got to be hoping that hopefully his long run is good, because right now I think his mid-run is not where he wants to be right now at all.
Yeah, he was way off the pace on that last lap, and I'm not sure if that was a result of him actually being in traffic or being passed. But, here we go, Derek Heatman. I'm going to say this again. I hope I'm saying his name right. It's either Heitman or Heatman. But Derek is definitely running pretty good. Those MMR guys, that's got to be a welcome addition to their team because he is definitely putting on a good show for them.
Yeah, John Mullins definitely putting on a good performance here, too, now as he works his way now up to 3rd place. Mullins on track to get probably one of his best finishes all season if he keeps it up right now.
Still got a lot of racing left, Brian, as well as green flag pit stops. But, because if this thing does go green and we do get the stop on the pit road, this is a place that's going to challenge these guys' abilities, not only to get down to the speed of entering the pit road, but also to actually stop in their box.
Chris Severa still turning the fastest laps on the racetrack, even faster than Travis Manning and Jose Acosta. Acosta doing a good job to stay right there with Travis Manning. Got to say, I'm real proud of that 42 team.
Yeah, like you said, he was definitely putting down some fast laps in practice, and now here we are, and he is getting that 42 John Deere call up front. It's got to be a good feeling for him, as he has definitely suffered a little bit in the last couple of weeks. So for his sponsors to actually have him come out tonight, and for his fan base even to be running up front and in 2nd place and even lead a lap or two here, that's a really good rebound for those guys. Heck, they might even get some biscuits if they keep doing what they're doing, Brian.
They definitely deserve them, with the performance he's having here. Been loving to see all the new competition that has been showing up here in the ISCA. Even tonight, on Thursday we saw a lot of new competition, new guys kind of joining in and getting top 3 finishes and almost even getting close to even winning the race. So, I mean, you got to love that, when you see guys kind of showing up here in the ISCA and the recruitment. Got to, hats off from Kenny Powell, or to Kenny Powell for bringing all these competitive guys into this race.
Yeah, and I don't think people really get an understanding of just how competitive this ISCA series is. These guys are consummate professionals, and you got a lot of ringers in here. And when I say ringers, I mean, these guys have multiple wins, multiple leagues. They're very established within our racing itself. And so it's not just a place where you're going to come in and just kind of ride around and, gain our rating and then make it to the ISCA. I think you got to be a winner to be here.
That you do. There are 5,000 I ratings in here. There's 4,000 I ratings in here. I mean, definitely a ton of talent.
Yep, and I'm going to defer my I rating to the second half. Chris Johnson now sliding to the inside of Al Koslowski. That's going to put him up in 5th place now. Sorry, Chris Severa.
Yeah, Chris Severa's on the slow march right now through the field, but he has quite a ways to go to get up to the lead here. 3.2 seconds is from him, or from Travis Manning back to him. And I think he's starting to get slowed down a bit by this traffic.
Yeah, I was looking at Chris Johnson, and I was talking about Chris Severa, so sorry about that if I got the two confused. But 48 and the 62 are teammates of sorts as well. Got to give a shout-out, though, to that 48 Southern Spiral pipe car of Chris D. Johnson. He's having a great performance here tonight as well as he finds himself up in 5th place. But he does have Chris Severa in his rearview mirror. Severa definitely going to be trying to get around him, looking to the inside. Muller's going to be doing everything he can to try to conserve his position because I don't think he wants to slide back anymore. Key right now is, guys, just to let the car come to you, be patient, let the race come to you as well. Johnson, they're driving deep on the inside. Severa driving deep on the inside of Johnson. Got a little bit squirrely. That's going to cause him to have to lift just a little bit. Here comes Al Koslowski trying to take advantage down the inside, but Severa's going to dive down low.
Yeah, this is not what Severa needs. This, we saw him make that decision to, pit, lose a ton of positions. Kind of thought that might be a good call, but it's just so hard to pass that he's just going to be continuously losing time to Travis Manning unless he finds some way to get around these guys. But, that is easier said than done. You can't just come up here and force your way through because, you're going to be burning your equipment up and might make all of your strategy calls, not work.
Yeah, absolutely. Severa is feeling the pain of being in traffic, but not Manning. Manning is actually now even extending his lead over Jose Acosta. So Acosta now having to slow down just a little bit too, and I'm not sure if that's going to be for degradation in tire wear or he's just kind of, maybe somebody said, hey, bro, let's just kind of take it easy here. We still got a ways to go.
That we do. Still some major fighting going on. John Mullins trying to hold off Chris Severa.
Yeah, absolutely. And we are just about 10 laps until we start our green flag. Until and there's Severa. He is going to be sliding through the infield. If he can keep it down there, though, it might not be a caution. That won't come out in his favor, but at least he's actually able to get back up the race pace. Probably not the coolest thing that he wanted to happen.
That was probably a scary situation from everybody that was behind him, too. I would have been probably losing my mind on that one. But everybody kept a cool head and kept on going. No caution going to come out. Unfortunate, though, for Chris Severa. All that work he did to work his way back through the pack, now all the way back in 11th place.
Still a lot of racing to go. As we are 61 to go, here will be 60 to go at this when we come about the line, and that's going to put us just about 5 or 6 laps out of that green flag pit window. And I'm interested to see how many guys are going to elect to come down on the early side of that versus how many guys are going to try to stay out there to the late end of it. Because you're going to be watching that 18 of Travis Manning. If he elects to stay out longer, I think drivers have the opportunity to maybe come in and pit sooner and hope that maybe they'll be able to make up some time. But if he comes down early, I think that's going to make a lot of other people maybe reevaluate their decision as well.
Oh, wow. Al Koslowski and Kenny Powell right now fighting here for the 5th position. Kenny Powell, of course, had some damage from earlier, but it looks like it is not affecting him in the slightest as he drives right by Al Koslowski. Yeah, you're right. The pit, the fuel window is getting ready to open in just probably a couple laps. But I don't think I think the smart money is on maybe going down at maybe 110. What would you say? Maybe 100, 110?
I'm trying to get it as close to 30 to go as possible. That's the thing, because I think then you can actually go out there and you can run hard for 30 laps. So, maybe 110, but I think some guys are going to push it even further than that.
Yeah, definitely. It's going to be hard for those guys to push it further now because we're 30 laps into this stint. The fuel run is 54, so they can only really theoretically go, I do believe, 24 more laps here. So that would put them probably around 110, 115. I don't even know if you could make it to 120, you think? Unless you did some saving. That is possible because we did see Chris Severa go in early he would be one I'd be looking at, especially considering he made that drastic mistake. He's going to need to do something crazy to get, his positions back. But Travis Manning, right now, the fastest man on the racetrack, looking really quick. But he's not that much faster, though, than Andrew Layton. Got to give a hats off to him. He's running some really quick laps, but he's back there in 12th place. He's going to need to really do some major work to get through this field.
Here's what I'm wondering now. When you actually, once that slot initiates, are you thinking more about not locking up your brakes to prevent from flat spotting those tires, or you just kind of letting it go and trying to hope that you can slow it down in the grass?
See, I think that's what Severa probably did. He just kind of like let it go and just went through the grass that way. Because, you slam on the tires, that's going to definitely cause more wear because, with all the smoke and stuff like that. I mean, that is definitely a sign that you're burning that tire up. So I think that's why Severa kind of rode it out a little bit.
Yeah, he just kind of rolled it out. And just like that, we are officially in our pit window, which means to those of you that are watching, if a caution were to come out at this point, drivers actually would be able to make it on just one more stop. Well,
I'll be honest with you, that just really scared me. I don't know, you didn't hear that, but I think someone just followed us on Twitch, and I didn't realize I had the notifications for that turned on. That just scared me. Apologize for that loud noise lately, ladies and gentlemen.
Yeah, you do scare kind of easy. Big old.
What is that supposed to mean?
Big old fraidy cat.
Oh, no.
Just like Boots.
There goes Chris Johnson, though, fighting with Jose Acosta. Jose Acosta looking like he is suffering a little bit on the longer run. Johnson going to be trying to take over third place here.
Yeah, this is the thing. This is when those tires are worn, man, and that car is just, you're doing everything you can to just try to keep the tail end of that thing underneath you, because you can actually feel that thing start to slide out, especially once you get onto that accelerator into the turn, And another thing, some of these drivers are actually going to start backing those corners up a little bit more, which means they're going to be actually slowing down a lot sooner before they get into the turn, and then some guys are going to continue to drive in. Also, people are going to start shifting. You have to do everything to get creative at this point in the race.
Oh, yeah, for sure. I mean, we're in the longest run of the race so far. 36 laps on these tires, and the fall off has been just tremendous here. 51.5 from Travis Manning compared to his fastest lap, 29.9. Definitely, that's a second and a half of fall off throughout this whole field. Some people are even falling off almost 2 seconds. Jose Acosta hitting 32-second laps. He actually has 2 seconds of fall off right now, Big Al.
Yeah, and that definitely starts to tell us whose cars are set up for what, because this is a challenge to set up the car up for a long run.
Oh yeah, it's also a challenge to drive the car on the long run. Having it set up for the long run is all well and good, but you also have to execute and not burn that equipment up.
Yeah, exactly what you just said. You got to conserve, because, if you go out there and you're risking it too soon, you ain't going to get no biscuits. As the 48 gets into the 76 right there, looks like Jose Acosta is going to be the first one on pit road. He was definitely struggling a little bit to get down the speed, but I think he made it with no penalty.
Yeah, I think he did a good job there getting on pit road. Didn't seem any major issues there. Definitely a little on the early side, but, 50 laps to go. Not a bad call, especially he was struggling. Maybe going to lay in some adjustments or try to take it a little bit easier on this next run. As you can see, Chris Johnson has taken over second place, but I don't believe Derek Heitman is going to be wanting to really let him go. He definitely is going to want to try to make something happen. I mean, that might even be a cue for the 76 to go down pit road, because it's like, wow, I just got passed. Maybe now's the time.
Yeah, way to go, Kenny Powell. I mean, after being a lap down, suffering that damage, he has actually battled that 24 gas and go Camry all the way back up to fourth place. He is also the founder of the ISCA and the owner. So shout out to the boss man, Kenny Powell there.
And Kenny Powell's running some really good lap times, too. 31.608. He's actually faster than everybody in front of him, except for the leader.
64 John Mullins down pit road.
That he is. Then a Ram Chevy down pit road. Definitely loving to see all these different, kind of long run setups versus short run setups. I think Brian Johnson, another one. He actually was the fastest man on the racetrack last time by. That 4-car is looking really good. Southern Pipe looking really strong on the longer run, and that's what you want to have here. He's going to be able to go a little bit longer, and like you said, probably pit a little bit later and then have those new tires later. That way he could just drive it hard.
But I think that's the best strategy that would be coming through my ears right now. Save, and then drive and go and go and go.
Right now they're 41 laps into this run.
So that does definitely show you the disparity between some of these setups. If you look at Jose Acosta, I mean, he literally is coming in with 50 to go. Now, this is my question. Without making any adjustments, if that car got that tight that soon, he's going to be tight again before this thing is over.
Oh, yeah, unless you made some really good adjustments and you knew exactly what you were doing.
Paul Olsen down pit road.
So a lot of guys are definitely choosing early when it comes to their pit stops here, as we are on lap 106. Travis Manning still out front, over 4 seconds on the field, almost 5 seconds on Chris Johnson right now.
Yeah, but just like that, looks like Kenny Powell and Brian Johnson had closed up the distance down on Derek Heitman, but Powell got a little bit loose, and that was going to allow Brian Johnson to go ahead and go by him. Looks like
that's going to kick. Yeah, it's going to kick that Toyota down pit road. Oh, he gets loose. He's going in the grass. I think he's got it saved though. Oh man.
It's a very difficult pit road to get onto.
It really is. I mean, the banking change down onto the apron is quite substantial, going from concrete to asphalt.
Yes, Chris Severa now is caught back up to Matt DeCiani, and he is battling him for that 7th place position.
See Jose Acosta, he's back on the racetrack on newer tires.
And this is what's going to cause it to get really interesting, because you got these guys now that are on fresh tires, and they're going to come out here and they're going to be mixing it up. They're going to be trying to get around the guys on the older tires, just like you saw Acosta get into the back of Severa a little bit. And it's just going to be a while before that pushes or shoves, or maybe you even see a caution.
I think Chris Severa going to give. Oh! Severa getting incredibly loose there. That's going to give DeCiani that position back.
Leaders on pit road. Travis Manning now coming down with 43 to go.
Al Koslowski down pit road. I do also see Derek Heitman down pit road. So I think I might have been right on the money, 110.
Yep, that 28 car Frank Flores also down pit road.
Chris Johnson going to be your leader right now, but for how long, though? As Brian Johnson has been running him down. Both of the Johnsons have been running definitely some of the fastest laps on the racetrack. It looks like, nope, Brian Johnson's going to actually go down pit road here. So that is going to, we're almost going to be cycling it all out with the amount of pit stops we're having here right now.
You know what nobody wants to see right now? That's a caution.
You got that right. Of course, Chris Johnson's still out there. Chris Severa has yet to pit. Matt DeCiani still out there. Andrew Layton.
And Severa's still putting down
some
very...
Chris Johnson down pit road. He does the exact same thing that Kenny Powell does. Goes right through the grass.
I've seen a lot of guys utilizing that access road to get on the pit road just because it is so hard to get these big cars, slowed down to the 45 miles per hour zone there that you got to hit in that very narrow band to get on the pit road. Chris Severa, now your leader.
And essentially what's going to be the fight for the lead, though, once this is all cycled out, is Jose Acosta and Travis Manning. Of course, Acosta pitted way early than Travis Manning did, so I do believe Manning is going to be your technical leader once everybody's down pit road. Chris Severa and Andrew Layton have yet to pit. I do believe Matt DeCiani just now went down.
That's affirmative. DeCiani is on pit road as we speak, along with Robert Pattengill.
I do believe Travis Manning has taken the theoretical lead, I'd say, because you never know. A caution could come out and change everything. But I do believe there goes Chris Severa down pit road.
I think now that's going to cycle us through, with the exception of, is Andrew Layton pitted yet?
He has not. He has 50 laps on his equipment right now. And I do believe he's probably going to be coming down any time now. I do believe he's probably going to be coming down this time. He's going really slow. I think he's getting himself ready. Yep, there he goes. And that is going to cycle us all around. Oh,
and he loses
no.
it, and he might come back up. Okay, he was actually able to keep it down on the road.
That was almost a caution right there.
So I think that was going to be our best shot at getting a caution. And now that the majority of the first segment of green flag pit stops, and that's right, I said first, because there's a possibility some of these guys might want to actually pit again, and they should all have another set of tires in the pits.
Yeah, if a caution came out, I definitely would see these guys pitting. But I think most of them are going to go for the long haul unless they absolutely have to. I mean, like a Jose Acosta, he was having a lot of problems with handling. He might be one that I could see maybe take that extra set.
He might be the reason why I said that, but I didn't want to single him out.
Well, I guess I did. Still, the race is on here, ladies and gentlemen. They're going to be, I do believe, 36 laps to go here when we cross the line.
And with that, we'll run through our running order as it sits right now. Travis Manning, your leader. Jose Acosta, second place. John Mullins in that 64 car is in third. Kenny Powell, fourth. Brian Johnson in fifth. Derek Heitman's going to be in, well, Al Koslowski just passed Derek Heitman for sixth. Gary Adamson in eighth. Chris Johnson, ninth. Matt DeCiani's in 10th. Chris Severa, 11th. Frank Flores, 12th. Andrew Layton, 13th, Robert Pattengale, 14th, Paul Osen, 15th, Greg Wachinski, 16th. And that's it. And everybody is still on the racetrack, too. We do not have anyone that is actually withdrawn from the contest, I don't believe.
Yeah, even the man, Greg Wachinski, who I think should have been the one. If anybody was going to drop out, it would have been him, just considering, him getting really destroyed on the first lap or first couple laps there. But luckily, he definitely not going to let that stop him here.
Yeah, speaking of Greg Wachinski, he is now down on pit road as well.
Here comes Brian Johnson. He just passed on the inside of Kenny Powell as they exit turn 2, and he's going to take over fourth place. Johnson, of course, has been one of the fastest men on the racetrack. Would not be surprised to see him definitely catch up to John Mullins and Jose Acosta. I think Brian Johnson right now, if I was a betting man, I'd say he's going to finish second here tonight, but anything could still happen. Because you got to keep in mind, he is right now 8.5 seconds back from Travis Manning. He is running faster than Manning, but not much faster. Gary Adamson's been doing pretty good tonight. He's right now in 9th place. Has been turning some really fast laps.
Yeah, he's tucked in right behind Chris D. Johnson there, and he's just rolling around doing exactly what he needs to do. This is one of those things where you just want to keep the car clean, keep it out of trouble. Don't drive the tires off of it. Try to stay conservative. Don't let the leader get too far out of sight. And just, keep it in one piece, Brian.
That's about all you can do. Try to keep it in one piece. And this is when you want to definitely have it all together still, because now we're at 30 laps to go when we cross the line this time by. See John Mullins right now in third place. You see Robert Pattengale. He's actually a lap down trying to get around him. But this has caused Brian Johnson to catch up here. He's going to be going on the inside of Robert Pattengale. And he is right there on John Mullins. So this is going to be a pass for third place if it does take place. And I think it will, just considering Brian Johnson is a half a second faster than John Mullins.
Yeah, here he comes, and he is actually going to close that gap pretty quick. John Mullins definitely has to see him coming. And at this stage of the game, you know, you don't really want to get out there and try to block somebody. You know, if the guy's coming, I just always say, I didn't catch you because I thought you was cute. I caught you because I'm faster than you. Johnson now going to go ahead and run on the inside, trying to make that move around Mullins.
I think he's going to have it.
Racetrack.
He's using the whole racetrack. I mean, he goes down to the apron there. I mean, Johnson definitely taking a lot of liberties, and he is going to take over third place. But now he has 3.6 seconds to get up there to Jose Acosta. Lap time-wise, he's still running half a second faster than him, so that probably won't take that, you know, that 4 car very long. Kenny Powell running some really good lap times also here. I think he's going to easily get around John Mullins and maybe even get himself a podium third place. Be good to talk to Kenny Powell tonight up here in the booth.
Yeah, I think Jose Acosta's going to have a lot of trouble, though, because he's already got 22 laps on his tires. He's got 10 laps more on his tires than those other guys, and we did see that had a tremendous effect on his speed. Kenny Powell now coming around Robert Pattingill, he has definitely got Mullins locked in. That is 4th position. And I think he caught it. Powell right now is really looking like he is going to get around Mullins here within the next 2 laps, and that will put him on the podium.
Well, it just depends on if they can both get around. Oh.
Just like that, Powell actually puts the bumper on Mullins. I don't think that was an intentional move, but definitely that's going to take a little bit of momentum from him. He's probably not going to be as patient the next time, Brian, because that's one of those things that we're talking about, you know, where some drivers are actually have different braking points once they enter that turn.
Well, I mean, you mentioned it that Kenny Powell didn't catch this guy because he's cute. He caught him because he's much faster than him, a half a second. When you're a half a second faster than somebody, and it does get very frustrating when you're like, hey, man, I caught you from like 5 seconds back. Why aren't you letting me go? You know, at a track like this, you do not want to do that because you're going to find yourself maybe tasting a little bit of that wall. So, Kenny Powell, definitely, he's got a lot of momentum on the back end here.
And he's having to utilize a lot of resources right now to get around Mullins. And if you look right there into the rear frame of your screen, you're going to see that that's been allowing Al Koslowski to actually catch up to Powell, because Powell's not been able to get around Mullins. Here he comes now, driving to the inside. He will not be denied this time, as he's going to push him up into the wall, trying to make sure he can get as much of an arc as he can going into that turn.
Oh.
This is going to be tricky.
They were getting door-to-door there for a second, but I think Mullins is going to have to let him go. I mean, Kenny Powell has such better tires and better speed right now. You hate to see it, but, I mean, Kenny Powell could have did a lot worse. Brian Johnson now caught up to Jose Acosta.
And there's Al Koslowski. He's going to slide by Mullins on the inside also. Now that's going to move Al Koslowski up into that 5th place position.
Brian Johnson almost a second faster than Jose Acosta. Acosta having some major handling difficulties as Brian Johnson's going to try to get around him. Big battle for 2nd place right now. And Jose Acosta, as you mentioned, he's on 10 lap older tires than the rest of these drivers, and on the long run, he was not handling well.
Yeah, definitely. He did short pit, and so now you see Brian Johnson's actually going to go around him. Chris Johnson, though, the other Johnson, is actually, now he's caught up to Mullins, and Mullins doing the same thing to him. That's going to cause him to actually kind of check up. Chris Johnson, though, that battle is going to be going on for what will be 6th place.
You see the 76, yeah.
Yeah, here comes Derek Heitman there. He's going to try to go ahead and make this a 3-way battle for that 6th place position. And don't look just yet, because Chris Severa is actually rolling in too to say, hey, guys, what about me?
Look at the 76. That took a lot of gumption. he just sailed it in there. Oh, man, this is getting scary.
This is getting real scary. It's going to get hairy, and I think this is where the accident's going to happen.
Yeah,
right,
this is the best chance for a caution right now. If a caution is going to happen, this is where it's going to happen at, is Severa desperate to get all these positions back.
And it's Mullins definitely is doing everything he can to keep from losing positions, and that has been the delta there. Now Severa up beside him as these two are going to be going at it, door dinging just a little bit, and that's going to get tight as they do touch going into 3.
Yeah, and John Mullen's going to be sent up the track a little bit there. He's going to be losing all sorts of positions. Even Gary Adamson's going to be getting by him.
And he's going to have Robert Pattingale wanting to do the same. So Mullins, for whatever situation he has got himself in, I don't think he's probably too happy about it. And speaking of situations, the 42 of Jose Acosta, he's all the way back now in third place.
Yeah, third place, and only separated by not that much here from Kenny Powell. Kenny Powell 2.3 seconds back from Jose Acosta, and I don't think that's going to last very long, just considering Kenny Powell running a little bit quicker. Not actually that much faster than Jose. I think about a 3/10, I'd say, faster, which it does add up after a while, but I think Kenny Powell having to deal with John Mullins so much really burned up a lot of that equipment.
Yeah, he did. He wasted a lot of resources trying to get around Mullins. And there's nothing that says Mullins has to let anybody go. He is well within his rights to defend his position. As we see the 25 car of Andrew Layton down pit road again, he is some 8 laps down.
Yeah, Andrew Layton definitely had a lot of speed in practice. But unfortunately, it does not seem like he's had the long run pace here tonight. But at least he's sticking with it, staying out there. You don't want a DNF. You might finish 8 laps down, but you don't want a DNF.
But what about Derek Heitman? I mean, this guy is coming in here, and I think this is probably one of his first showings with us. And, man, he is, if we had a gauge right now, he is battling with Chris Severa, trying to maintain 6th position. So if he is going to be running along with the likes of Chris Severa, I think he...
Severa going to move him out of the way. Wow, Severa using the bumper very liberally there. I don't think the 76 liked that very much. This is going to be an issue.
Oh, he door-dinged him right there going into the turn, I think, just to show him a little bit of displeasure. And that's going to cause Severa to go real high. I don't think this is over.
Oh, I don't think it's over by a long shot.
Looks like he was trying to ram him right there as well. So this is going to be the battle I think that we're going to be watching here for a while because, it's that old saying.
Oh, and there he goes again. Hits him again.
You get the horns, and Severa's going to self-spin. Caution is out.
Oh, my goodness. What the heck? Chris Severa in the 76 tempers. Short track tempers going on out here.
15 laps to go. The one thing nobody wanted to see, that was the caution come out. The one person that did want to see that caution come out, that's going to be Jose Acosta. But, wow, what about Severa and Height? I mean,
this is a long story to unpack. I think we need to watch a couple laps here because this is a couple incidents that happened in the course of a couple laps here. This was an exciting little battle here. See Chris Severa into him the first time. Right there, moves him up the racetrack, gets him out of the way.
Very subtle, though. I mean, that was a very subtle move, and you see right there the 76 thinks about it. Oh, and
yeah, he was very unhappy.
He was taunting him, and then there he comes, and he actually does bump him out. And that is when Severa said, okay, bud, now we're going to do it.
Oh, and look at this. Gary Adamson was trying to avoid this. He was like, I don't want no part of this, man.
You guys getting caught to the hauler.
Boom. And that actually hurt Severa more than it hurt the 76. So I just think that was a thing to where, the 76 kind of baited him there, and it worked out better for the 76. I don't think this is over, though, Big Al. I mean, these guys are both still going to be on the lead lap, going to be able to get another set of tires. I don't think that's over.
I don't think any of it's over. I mean, because, look, by the time all said and done, I think we're going to be, like 11 laps to go here. I mean, if that ain't a shootout, now, I guarantee you we're not done with our last caution because you know as well as I do, cautions breed caution. So, I don't think these guys are done beating and banging. Travis Manning, though, is going to go ahead and lead us back off of pit road. But, look, Brian Johnson now has a chance because he is going to be right up here beside Travis Manning. And, Manning's best shot at winning this thing is going to be trying to get an excellent launch.
Some of these guys are going to be out here driving angry.
Well, now, in 15 laps, man, I mean, you put in your Q set and go. I mean, you know what I mean? You just hold on at that point. I mean, you're everything. This is go time. I mean, you're risking it for the biscuit. So these guys are going to be beating and banging all the way through the end of this thing. You can rest assured that is going to be the case.
Already been seeing a lot of beating and banging, of course, everybody going to be getting themselves a fresh set of tires. Everybody going to be on the same level here. So it's all going to be about your short run pace. Travis Manning, you're going to try to have to hold on because I think there's a lot of guys that have those short run cars. Jose Acosta, he's going to be one that I'm going to be looking at. Al Kozlowski, very fast on the short run.
Yeah, Al Kozlowski, this is definitely in the wheelhouse of where his car has been performing the best. And remember, the tires don't even fall off until 12 laps. So essentially, you're going to be able to run this thing about as wide and hard as you want to, for the remainder of this event.
Yeah, this is where hot laps are definitely going to be what you're going to want here. I mean, a lot of times we always say, oh, you got to be able to put together a whole run. Well, this is where, you risking it. You want to get that win.
Right. For those of you just joining us, you are tuned in to the iRacing Stock Car Association's broadcast of the Rock Auto 200, sponsored in part by Tucson Sound Art. You've got Brian, Britt, and Al Nixon, and we are calling this thing, and you just joined in at the right time. And if you would like to see a more exciting racing like this, please like, subscribe, and follow us. That's right, the iRacing Stock Car Association. You can find it at iRacingStockCarAssociation.com. If you would like to sponsor an event or know someone that would, also please get in contact with Kenny Powell at the iRacing Stock Car Association.com. Say that 10 times fast.
Pace car lights are out. We're getting ready to get back racing here as Travis Manning going to be once again leading us to green. He has led the most laps here on the night, I do believe. Of course, there's a lot of chances for that. Maybe, he's led a lot of laps, but could he definitely make a mistake? He even kind of alluded to it earlier when we talked to him. He definitely hasn't been racing a whole lot, hasn't even had a lot of like for this car. But I'll tell you what, he looks like he's liking this car right now, Big Al.
Yeah, that he does. And another person who is definitely going to be trying to redeem himself, that's going to be Jose Acosta. As I said, that caution came at the exact opportune time for him because he had probably found himself to be in a pickle. As you can see that Brian Johnson is going to be definitely going to be practicing that launch because if his only shot, I think, of beating Travis Manning is actually getting the jump on him. So sometimes starting on that outside might not even be a bad choice as the lights are on the pace car. He is going to be dropping down. We'll be watching intently as Travis Manning leads us into that Geico restart zone.
And here comes the green flag.
Wow, what a launch did he get right there. It seems like Brian Johnson was sitting there and he was ready. Kenny Powell was poised to go with him. But just like that, Manning is off to the races. Everything behind him is now trying to shake itself out and stack up. Al Kozlowski is on the inside. He's going to try to get a run on the 48. As Jose Acosta is going to keep Kenny Powell at bay as he is going to be trying to maintain that third place position. And Brian Johnson trying to do everything he can to reel in Travis Manning. But that 18 car right now is not appearing that he is going to be caught. Brian.
See Jose Acosta, he is desperately trying to get every bit of momentum he can. Got extremely close to the outside wall there on the exit of 4 as he tries to drive away from Kenny Powell. You see Al Kozlowski back there fighting with the 76.
Yeah, and I don't think that 76 really wants to get up in the mix of that G&G Hornets nest because, you'll get hit 5 different ways from Sunday.
Well, I don't know. I think that he's probably got a little bit of some intense. He's definitely racing really hard right now because he sees that 62. He's behind him. They are 7th and 8th right now, respectively, and Chris Severa probably wanting every bit of to catch up to that 76.
Yeah, I don't know if Chris Severa might have actually damaged his car just a little bit as he is not seeming to be able to close that gap on that 76. But Al Kozlowski now.
Oh my God! I'm sorry to interrupt you. Travis Manning has lost the lead. Brian Johnson, new leader. Oh, my goodness. I cannot believe that 4 car was actually able to take that lead from Travis Manning. Manning probably going to be very disappointed. But, man, could we have a different winner here? As now we're going to have, I do believe, 8 laps to go here, 7 when we cross the line.
Now, that's going to cause Travis Manning to definitely step out of his comfort zone. He says himself, sometimes he gets a little overzealous, but if he is not careful in his quest to catch up with Brian Johnson, he's going to have to deal with Jose Acosta. But just like that, Kenny Powell is also trying to get his name on the docket as he is doing everything he can to try to get up to that third place position. Chris Severa now caught up to the 76. He is going to go by him on the inside. Now he's got his sights set on the 48 car, Chris D. Johnson.
Yeah, Brian Johnson has turned the fastest lap of the race last time by 29.7 flat. That is the fastest lap by far here tonight.
Like I said, I'd put in my Q set and go.
I think that's exactly what he did here. As Al Kozlowski is caught up to the back of Kenny Powell. Al's going to try to go underneath here and take this position away and work his way up to 4th. Tight racing from G&G.
Yeah, that is, and they also got 2 G&G teammates behind them, so all 4 of those guys are running side by side. And I think the detriment is going to be just that. They're going to have to get in line and try to put that hammer down and, you know, let the fastest car out front and everybody else follow suit.
Here comes Al Kozlowski once again. They're going to try to get underneath Kenny Powell. Powell is probably getting fed up with this, but, I mean, this is when it's time to race. Teams don't matter when we're 5 to go.
Yeah, but hopefully the team will still stay intact, though. But wow, look at Brian Johnson go. He has got that 4-car in to win, and he is definitely showing everybody the pace and speed that he had. And it's a very big difference trying to do something for 10 laps as opposed to trying to do it for 100. So kudos to him. At 5 to go right now, he has proven himself to be the car to beat.
Al Kozlowski, yeah, under fire from Chris Severa. 4 laps to go here, side by side, the 88 and the 62. Big battle. Oh, look at Johnson, or Chris Severa getting really close to the side of Al Kozlowski, but looks like he is going to make that pass happen. The 76 dives in underneath the 88.
Al Kozlowski getting pushed up a little bit higher on the racetrack.
He just lost it there, able to catch it, though. That's going to give DeCiani what he needs to maybe take that spot away.
It's real hard once you get pushed up like that. They actually get control of that car and get it back down so you can get it to turn into that arc.
Brian Johnson still in the lead here. 3/10 he has over Travis Manning. And now going to be 2 laps to go until we see the fireworks shooting off. And I think Brian Johnson, I think he's got it, Big Al. Look at him go.
And I tell you what, that means 2 laps to go. The next flag will end this thing. So this is the time to go, baby, go. We got to risk it for the biscuit. If you don't get around the guy that you're sitting in front of or behind, then you're going to find yourself in the place that you're in. And nobody wants that. Everybody wants to win.
Oh, yeah, you definitely want to win, but I think that Travis Manning does not have that opportunity anymore unless Brian Johnson makes a huge mistake, which definitely could happen. But right now, he has 1 lap to go, just 4 corners, and he will be your winner here tonight. Travis Manning has led almost all night long, but, man, that last rate, that caution really changed everything. I'm sure Travis Manning not going to be sending Severa and I'd say Derek Heitman any love letters, that's for sure, or any Christmas cards.
Yeah, those 2 settled down quite a bit there. I wonder what actually happened, but Severa actually did best Heitman as he was actually to move up and actually gain sole control of that 6th place position.
And Brian Johnson, officially your winner here tonight for the Rock Auto 200. Travis Manning going to be finishing in 2nd place. 3rd place, Jose Acosta. 4th place, Kenny Powell. 5th place, Chris Johnson. 6th place, Chris Severa. 7th place, Derek Heitman. 8th place, Matt DeCiani. 9th place, Al Kozlowski. 10th place, John Mullins.
Gary Adamson is going to be in the 11th. Frank Flores in 12th. Paul Olsen, 13th. 1 lap down. Robert Pattengale in 14th. Some 3 laps down. Andrew Layton in 15th, some 10 laps down. Greg Wachinski, 22 laps down in 16th. And Josh Schaffner rounds out our 17-car field. With that, we're going to go ahead and take a quick break, take a word from our sponsors, and get ready and set up for this post-race show.
And we are back, ladies and gentlemen, for our post race show after the Rock Auto 200. Brian Johnson, of course, your winner. Travis Manning, your second place finisher, and Jose Acosta, your third. We will start with our third place finisher, Jose Acosta. I think you might have been a little bit lucky there that that caution did come out, just considering you were having a very ill handling car on the long run. Can you talk us through what you were kind of feeling out there?
Uh, yeah, man. Right at the end, I was lucky for that yellow flag. Um, it saved me. I trying to be early to see if I could get advantage. I did get a little bit of advantage because I was already like fourth, fifth place when I pitted, and then I came out second. And I just hold, I just try to hold my pace to the end there. I didn't have the car. Um, there was a lot of fast people here, so third place still good.
Yeah, definitely was a good finish for you for sure, and definitely very opportune on the caution there. Glad that that kind of came out for you. You definitely had a lot of speed here tonight. I know you've been having some problems here as of late on this Saturday night series, but so a good recovery for you, wouldn't you say?
Oh yeah, definitely.
Well, can you walk us through like what some of the challenges were of this racetrack here tonight? You know, some of the problem areas for you.
I don't know what to tell you. Um, I guess I was trying to just find the speed basically. I know the bottom and the middle, like the bottom, maybe in the first of the beginning of your run might be faster, that you got to switch a little bit. So basically, I was missing on that. Um, like I was fast in the beginning, and then I couldn't find like where was the speed. I was switching lane, and I couldn't just find it. So that was basically my main problem.
Well, you definitely had a good qualifying. You know, qualified on the outside pole and were able to finish in third. So only down one position. Definitely a great race for you to survive. You know, a lot of guys definitely had a little bit more trials and tribulations for sure. You did a great job though. How are you feeling? I know Road America going to be coming up next week. Definitely going to be an exciting trip to the road courses.
A lot of practice. I know. Sonoma, I haven't raced that track for like a long time, so I was struggling on Sonoma. So I don't know. I mean, just a lot of practice, uh, and hopefully we don't have a too bad of poor performance.
Well, you better go ahead and get practicing now.
Yeah, definitely.
All right. Well, we definitely look forward to seeing what you can pull out for us there. Definitely a great job here tonight with your third place finish. Who can we shout out?
Uh, my son, he actually here with me. When he was watching me in the broadcast. He was in Tennessee. Now I have it in the summer. And to my mother right here, she's watching too. And to you guys for a great broadcast, and for the league. I like it. So um, really hoping for the future. See what's up.
Well, Tennessee. I mean, it sounds like you could probably go to the Nashville racing for real.
Well, I'm in Georgia, so I had to
Oh, okay.
drive
Your
to
son
Tennessee
could then, I
together.
guess.
Yeah, yeah, that's right.
Well, thanks for your time, Jose. We look forward to seeing you again.
All right.
That is Jose Acosta, your third place finisher here tonight. Our second place finisher waiting with Mr. Big Al.
Hey, Travis, this is Big Al, bud. How you doing again?
Hey, all right, how it's up?
Hey, so basically, to sum up tonight, man, you finished stage one in second, stage two in second, and you finished the race in second. Do you think that really is indicative? Do you think that truly shows how your setup and your car were?
No, absolutely not. I mean, first and foremost, Frontline Esports gave me an absolute just rocket ship. I mean, if it wasn't for that, that was an 8 second plus victory. You know, it's a real shame that it ended up that way. There's guys like Derek Heitman in the field that hit everything but the pace car today, and unfortunately ruined a good finish for my 18 Bruzy Chevrolet. And it's a real shame that Severa got caught up in that too. You know, it's not to take anything away from Brian. You know, Brian made a fantastic pick call there at the end. I believe he short fueled. He was just an absolute rocket ship, and there wasn't much I could have done. I wasn't going to race him dirty either. So, but it's a real shame. Worked so hard just to come up short yet again, and It is what it is. It's all part of the deal.
Yeah, definitely. You were definitely out front, and it was your race to lose. You were doing everything right, but yeah, something unfortunately out of your control happened. But you got to put that behind you. You did have a strong showing, man. A real rocket ship of a car. Got a lot of momentum going into next week. So, what are you thinking about that? How you going to do on that road course?
I'm hoping to make it. I'm on baby watch right now. We're 7 days to a due date of my daughter, so really next week's just up in the air, kind of. If I make it, if I make it, if I don't, if I don't. But season 3 is definitely something I want to get back into, finish it out, and I've definitely got some unfinished business with some people out there in the field too. So definitely
Ooh,
like to be back.
that sounds like something that's going to be exciting for us to be looking out for, man. But once again, my condolences for the way that all turned out. But you did really have a fast car tonight. But before I let you go, man, who'd you like to give a shout out to?
Yeah, I appreciate it. And shout out to Abruzzi, Don Wheaton Chevrolet, Frontline Esports, Bruising Q's. These guys, the guys over at Frontline work so damn hard on these cars week in, week out. Wish I could have brought them home a win tonight, but definitely a good show and form. Thank you guys for everything. You guys put on a great show week in, week out. Wish I could make more of them, but glad I was able to make it tonight and put on a good show. And congrats to Brian on the victory. I know these things are hard to come by.
Yeah, definitely. No need to hang your head, bud. You came here and you did everything you needed to do. Just came up a little bit short. Good luck to you next week. And hey, congratulations on the birth and arrival of that new baby.
Thank you, appreciate it.
All righty, that is Travis Manning. Did an excellent job here tonight. He should have won it. I mean, I can kind of I'm a little disappointed for him, to be honest with you. 100 laps led on the night, but the man who actually won it came out of nowhere. The closer, I guess they're gonna have to start calling him, Brian Johnson. Man, you got to be feeling ecstatic.
Oh yeah, it feels good.
Walk us through what your strategy there was at the end. I mean, I think Travis might have kind of alluded to it. Did you take less gas to maybe put some more speed in that car? Because you turned the fastest lap of the race in that last run, 29.700. That was insanely quick.
Yeah, no gas, just tires. Tightened her up a little bit for that short sprint there, but just went full send. Wasn't going to leave anything on the table. Shout out to Travis for racing clean. That was a heck of a battle. I wish I was up there, sooner. Me and him duking it out. I know Chris Vera had an awesome car too, so it would have been interesting, if I didn't make those mistakes on pit road early on, and if those cautions didn't come out.
Yeah, I mean, imagine that. I mean, that was quite a recovery though, because I know we saw you win the race off of pit road under one of those cautions there, and what happened? Yeah, we saw you kind of spun it out there on the exit.
Yeah, it's been a long day. Wasn't paying attention, looking at my tires, just looking at the data, and yeah, went right onto the apron, caught the grass, and away she went. So yeah, went to the rear, got a black flag, went to the rear, and had to fight my way back.
Well, you definitely did that. I mean, imagine I'm curious what the race would have looked like if that hadn't happened, because you did win the race off of pit road right there. But you didn't let that stop you. You didn't dwell on it. You still just kept your eyes forward and kept moving forward. Great job doing that. I mean, were you ever dwelling on it during the race? Like, man, that could have just gave it away for me.
Yes and no. I knew I had a good car. I fought back up to second. I knew Travis had it in the bag. He had a 7-8 second lead and, running good lap time. So, I was good with the second place finish. Once I saw that caution come out, I knew it was game on.
That it was, and you just surged ahead, turning some really, really fast laps out there, conquering Nashville Superspeedway. Got to be feeling good to have this one in the books. I don't know though. Next week going to be a little bit of a difficult track, Road America. How are you feeling about that?
Yeah, feeling pretty good. I enjoyed road courses. As you know, I'm not the best at them, but I'm pretty consistent. I enjoy running them.
Short, sweet, and to the point. Well, we have hopefully wish you the best of luck there next week, and hopefully we'll see you take this momentum and utilize it for sure. Who can we shout out after this big victory here tonight?
Of course, shout out to you guys up in the booth. You guys do a fantastic job every week, even on Thursdays. Shout out to Tucson Sound Art for sponsoring. Shout out to Kenny for running the show. He puts on a fantastic league race here. And also the guys at G&G. We worked hard on the set this week, put together a good piece, and it showed. So, and also shout out to to Travis with his new baby. So good luck to him.
All righty. Well, we definitely appreciate your time. See you next week there, Mr. Johnson.
Thanks, Brian.
That is Brian Johnson, man after my own heart. He shares my name, so I got to like him. But great job to him. Congratulations on that win. Big Al, man, what a race this was tonight. I mean, we definitely saw it all, I do believe. We saw green flag pit stops. We saw, a surprise winner, I'd say. And, we saw some guys make mistakes. We even saw some headbutting out there. What a race, Big Al.
I know it was definitely one for the books. And, once again, this Tucson Sound Art Saturday night series here with the ISCA never disappoints. Tonight, though, was a one for the books. Definitely saw a lot of things go on the racetrack. It's going to be interesting to see how this shakes out, Brian.
100%. Can't wait to see what Road America looks like next week. Of course, if you want a little bit of a tease on what Road America is going to look like, make sure you tune in with us on Thursday, 9:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. We're going to be going live for Road America in the Butt Kicker Cup and Super Cup Series. So, watch that. It's going to be a lot of great drivers in there, too. But also make sure you mark your calendar. Next Saturday, we're going to have 9:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, Road America for the Tucson Sound Art Cup and Super Cup Series. Definitely excited to see how that all turns out, especially going to a road course. There's been a lot of those here, and I think the road course ringers definitely going to be making their way up the point standings with Road America. I don't know, though. We'll have to wait and see. But with that, I do believe that brings us to our scheduled conclusion here for tonight's race. We appreciate everybody out there tuning in. Big thanks to Big Al. Big thanks to Kenny Powell, everybody that makes all of this possible. And big thanks to everybody out there watching. We'll see you later.